Hello and welcome back to Bookish Brits. My name is Michelle, and you're right, I haven't been on this channel in a really long time, and I apologize for that. It's been a funny old year, I think. Times have been tough. I haven't been doing a lot of reading. I haven't felt like making videos in a while. I have a dog that takes up a lot of my time, and it's just been, it hasn't been my main priority, I don't think. I've been looking for jobs quite a lot recently, and yeah, I think life has just taken over. But enough of that. One of the things that I really wanted to talk to you about today are being in reading slumps, and the ways, I guess, in which Waffle, don't do that. Waffle, run away. Waffle, why are you being Sorry, my dog's trying to get in the shot. You have to be over here by the camera, Bob. Um, one of the ways, I guess, that that I get out of reading slumps is by and I think I'll probably write a blog post about it, just to go into a little bit more detail. But one of the things that I do is I either change where I'm reading it. So if I'm mostly reading physical books, I switch over to my my e-reader, read something on my Kindle. If I find that I've been reading a bunch of YA books in particular, then switching it up to some adult fiction, some non-fiction, something else entirely. I realized that one of the things that I was doing is every time I switched on my Kindle, I'd get hit with this like guilt, I guess, for not reading some of the NetGalley books that I downloaded onto my Kindle ages ago, and it just ended up feeling like pressure, and I feel like that's exactly what I don't want when I'm thinking about being in a reading slump. Is what I feel like I should be reading when all I really want to do is read books that make me happy. And I found that one of the things that really help me bust out of a reading slump are romance books. Anything that really pull at my heartstrings, breakups, falling in love, absolutely anything like that. Absolutely something that I will enjoy. So today's video, I'm going to talk about the 5 books that I read that pulled me out of my reading slump and just got me back into the reading thing. Because I really haven't been doing that much reading this year at all. So the first 2 books I want to talk about are by Talia Hibbert. The first is Take a Hint, Dani Brown. This is the second in the, I don't know which Brown Sisters series. And this is following Dani, who is not great with commitment, with relationships. She's just gotten out of a really awkward thing with a colleague. She's not really that interested. She gets she does a spell with a friend, and what she really wants is a sign, I guess, to come along, and that sign ends up being the security guard at the university where she works, and it's just so lovely. I think what I love the most about Take a Hint, Dani Brown is just how much fun it is. It's fun, it's sexy, it's there's a lot of romance there. It feels believable, the conflicts that they go through, Dani's commitment, I guess, issues, some of the stuff brought up just in the storyline itself was interesting enough, but it didn't take away from like the meat of the story, which I wanted to be these 2 main characters falling in love. What I really liked about it is that it's an interracial couple where both of the people are not white. I feel like too many times when we're looking at an interracial couple, it feels like some authors really need it to be white and another ethnicity, and I feel like it doesn't have to be that way. I really I really found that great. I also read The Roommate Risk by the same author. This is about a girl who her living arrangements become unavailable due to a flood, and she has to count on the only person who's really reliable in her life, and that's her best friend. They had a weird, awkward thing in the past, and yeah, sparks begin to fly almost immediately, and I think that that whole friends to lovers thing is one of my favorite um, tropes, I guess, in romance. What I love about Talia Hibbert's books are that it's just all about um, falling in love, heartbreak, and it's just so lovely. I feel like Talia Hibbert was an author who I came across last summer when a lot of people were talking about how they wanted to see more black joy in the books that they were reading, that there were too much about pain and about struggle, about violence against black people, and Talia Hibbert's name kept cropping up for books that are just about about love and oh, sorry, that's a dog hair right on my lip. And I think that's what I really wanted. I wanted some just pure escapism romance. Obviously, there has to be conflict. How could it be a romance book without it? But it didn't need to be as heavy as because of who the characters are. Next up, I read The Idea of You by Robin Lee. I probably didn't get the name right. If I didn't, then I'll put up a cover here. I can't remember how or why I came across The Idea of You. I think it's been chosen for some book club, but I think it was just an Amazon recommendation, and it just when I read the little blurb or whatever, it was about this 38, 39 year old woman who falls in love with a, a a boy in a boy band who is not One Direction but feels very One Direction-y, and I think um, I just turned 39, so it just felt like okay, I can probably relate pretty hard to this main character. Turns out I really didn't. She has a lot of great idea. I feel like I'm waffling on. What I loved about The Idea of You is that the author brings up all sorts of different things about women, about aging, about art, and how things like fine art, because she's the owner of a really fancy art gallery. It kind of juxtaposes her high art with boy bands and pop music, I guess, and how one is looked as more elitist as than the other. It's talking about women and ethnicity, about the double standards with relationships, how yeah, it's talking about fandom, lots of different things, and I think what I really wanted from it is to be this again escapist, sexy, light romance, and instead what I was given is all these things to think about in terms of art and gender and relationships, and I'm not complaining. I'm here for that. It was definitely a great book to just bust me out of my reading slump entirely. Next up, I read a Glasgow Kiss, which was kind of described as like a Scottish Bridget Jones, talking about this woman, sorry, her misadventures and dating, was not the greatest, I'm not gonna lie. It was one of those books that it was quite short, so I managed to read it quite quickly. Didn't particularly care for it. There was a lot of stuff in it that made me feel like I don't know, like something where it was said purposely for like the slapstick comedy of it to be really gross, to be a little bit out there, and I didn't feel like it needed to be that. It just made it feel a little bit ridiculous. It was only 99p, I think, which is why I bought it. But I wouldn't. It's definitely not a book that I would recommend. And finally, I read The Soulmate Equation by Christina Lauren. I'd read some books by Christina Lauren before and was quite intrigued by The Soulmate Equation. It's about this single mother. She has had like a crush, I guess, on this man who comes into her regular cafe all the time, and her best friend manages to find out a little bit more about him, and it turns out that he's the creator of this new dating app that really matches together your DNA, talking about soulmates at a biological level, and I guess for a laugh, both the main character and our best friend kind of donate some DNA samples to this the beginnings of this dating app, and it turns out that the main character and the crush in the cafe end up being like a 97% match. Don't quote me on that statistic, but the rest of the story is about their reluctance, I guess, to get together. They both have reservations on both sides, but is there enough to keep them together? Is it really true that you can match at a biological level with your soulmate? It was a lot of fun, and I really, really enjoyed it. And I feel like there's something to be said by just branching out of what you normally read. So I normally read emotional contemporary YA, and to just dive into these 5 different romance stories aimed at adults was such a fun diversion, I guess. And since then, I have been reading, I think, maybe 7, 8 other YA books, but I will come back to you. This is already quite a long video, so I will come back to you soon enough with more updates. And I guess thank you for your patience on this channel. I will be talking at you soon.